Have you ever met someone who wasn't the most attractive person in the room, yet everyone seemed drawn to them? And then you probably met someone who had every physical advantage, good looks, expensive clothes, perfect grooming, but somehow left no lasting impression. Why does that happen? Because appearance is about far more than the face you were born with. Long before people notice your features, they notice your posture, your expression, your energy, the way you carry yourself, the calmness or chaos you bring into a room. The Stoics understood something that modern society often forgets. True attractiveness is not something you buy. It is something you cultivate. Marcus Aurelius never taught people how to become more physically beautiful. He taught them how to become more disciplined, more composed, more self-controlled. Ironically, these very qualities often make a person appear far more attractive than expensive clothing or perfect genetics ever could. Today, many people spend thousands trying to improve what they see in the mirror. Very few spend time improving the habits that quietly destroy how they are perceived. These habits don't leave scars overnight. They work slowly, almost invisibly, until one day, people notice something feels different about you, even if they can't explain exactly what it is. The good news is that what habits destroy, better habits can rebuild. Let's begin with the first silent habit. Habit number 1. Constant stress shows on your face. The Stoics often reminded themselves that while we cannot control every event in life, we can control how we respond to it. Modern life encourages the opposite. We worry about tomorrow before the day has even ended. We replay yesterday's mistakes. We imagine conversations that haven't happened. We carry problems that don't belong to us. Little by little, our minds become exhausted. Eventually, our bodies reveal what our thoughts have been hiding. Have you ever noticed how someone who is constantly anxious often looks older than their age? Their forehead remains tense. Their jaw stays tight. Their shoulders never relax. Their eyes lose their brightness. This isn't simply aging. It's accumulated tension. Imagine stretching a rubber band every day without allowing it to rest. Eventually, it loses its flexibility. Your face works much the same way. Chronic stress keeps your muscles locked in patterns of worry. Over time, those patterns become part of your appearance. The Stoics practice mental discipline not only for peace of mind, but because inner calm naturally influences the outer self. A peaceful mind softens the face. It steadies the eyes. It slows unnecessary movements. It creates a quiet confidence that no cosmetic product can imitate. This doesn't mean pretending life is easy. It means refusing to allow every challenge to become an emotional emergency. Each morning, ask yourself a simple question. What is within my control today? Then give your energy only to those things. Leave the rest behind. You'll be surprised how much lighter your face begins to look when your mind is no longer carrying the entire world. Habit number 2. Poor posture silently weakens your presence. Imagine 2 people walking into the same room. One stands upright. Their shoulders are relaxed. Their movements are calm. They don't demand attention. Yet people notice them almost immediately. The second person constantly looks at the ground. Their shoulders collapse inward. Their head leans forward. They appear hesitant before saying a single word. Neither person has spoken, yet the room has already formed an impression. Posture is silent communication. Long before anyone hears your voice, they read your body. The Stoics believe that your outer behavior should reflect your inner discipline. Someone ruled by fear often shrinks without realizing it. Someone grounded in self-respect naturally stands with quiet stability. Notice that confidence isn't stiffness. It isn't arrogance. It isn't trying to appear larger than you are. True confidence simply means carrying yourself without apology. Think of an ancient oak tree. It doesn't struggle to look strong. It simply grows according to its nature. Its strength is effortless because it comes from years of steady growth. Your posture tells a similar story. Hours spent looking down at phones, slouching in chairs, or avoiding eye contact gradually train the body into weakness. Eventually, that weakness becomes your default appearance. Fortunately, posture is a habit, and habits can be changed. Each time you stand, imagine a gentle thread lifting the top of your head toward the sky. Relax your shoulders. Open your chest. Breathe deeply, not to impress anyone, but because a disciplined body supports a disciplined mind. As Epictetus reminded his students, how you conduct yourself is part of your character. Carry yourself with dignity, even when no one is watching. Habit number 3. Constant complaining drains your attractiveness. There's something fascinating about human nature. People rarely remember every word you said, but they always remember how you made them feel. Imagine spending an hour with 2 different people. The first spends the entire conversation complaining. The weather, work, politics, money, traffic, other people. Nothing seems good enough. By the end of the conversation, you feel emotionally exhausted. Now imagine someone else. They acknowledge life's difficulties. They don't pretend everything is perfect, but they speak with perspective. They look for solutions instead of blame. They remain calm under pressure. Who would you rather spend time with? The answer is obvious. Complaining slowly changes more than your relationships. It changes your face. Think about it. Every complaint reinforces frustration. Frustration becomes irritation. Irritation becomes habit. Habit becomes expression. Eventually, your resting face begins reflecting the emotions you practice most often. The Stoics warn against becoming slaves to external circumstances, not because hardship doesn't exist, but because constantly complaining never removes hardship. It only multiplies it. Marcus Aurelius faced wars, political betrayal, disease, and unimaginable responsibility. Yet his private writings repeatedly remind himself to remain grateful for another opportunity, to act with virtue. He focused on response rather than resentment. This mindset creates a remarkable transformation. Gratitude softens the face. Hope brightens the eyes. Purpose changes posture. Optimism changes energy. People often call this good vibes. The Stoics simply called it governing your own mind. The next time you're tempted to complain, pause for a moment. Ask yourself, does this move me closer to solution? If the answer is no, redirect that energy towards something constructive. Your appearance isn't only shaped by what you eat or wear. It is shaped by what you repeatedly think and speak. The person who constantly practices gratitude eventually carries it on their face. And people notice, even if they can't explain why. These first 3 habits may seem small. A little stress, a little slouching, a little complaining. But like water slowly wearing down stone, small habits create enormous changes over time. The Stoics believe that excellence is never built in dramatic moments. It is built through daily choices, daily discipline, daily awareness, and the same is true of your appearance. The face you wear tomorrow is influenced by the thoughts you practice today. By now, you've probably noticed something important. The Stoics never separated the mind from the body. They understood that the way you think eventually becomes the way you look. A peaceful mind creates a peaceful expression. A disciplined life creates a disciplined presence. An uncontrolled mind leaves traces that no expensive clothing or perfect hairstyle can hide. Most people believe appearance is something they see only in the mirror. But your appearance is much larger than your reflection. It includes the way you walk into a room, the way you greet people, the energy you bring into conversations, the emotions you carry on your face, the confidence or uncertainty that quietly follows you wherever you go. This is why some people become more attractive as they grow older, not because time was kinder to them, but because wisdom gradually shaped the way they carried themselves. Let's continue with the next habit. Habit number 4. Living without purpose makes you look lifeless. Have you ever noticed the difference between someone who wakes up with a reason to live and someone who simply exists from one day to the next? The difference is almost impossible to miss. One person walks with direction. Their eyes seem awake. Their movements have intention. Even when life becomes difficult, there is something alive inside them. The other drifts through each day without enthusiasm. They move because they have to. They work because they have to. They wake up because they have to. Over time, this lack of purpose begins to show. The Stoics believe that every person has a role to fulfill. Marcus Aurelius reminded himself each morning that he was born to contribute, not merely to consume. Purpose gives life momentum. Without it, even the healthiest body can appear exhausted. Imagine 2 ships at sea. One has a destination. The other simply floats wherever the waves carry it. Which one appears more stable? Your life works the same way. When your days are guided by purpose, even small actions feel meaningful. You wake with intention. You speak with clarity. You make decisions more confidently. Purpose gives your presence a quiet strength that people naturally respect. Ask yourself every morning, what kind of person do I want to become today? Not what I want to own. Not who do I want to impress? But what virtues do I want to practice? Patience, discipline, courage, kindness. When these become your daily goals, your appearance begins reflecting the peace that comes from living intentionally. Habit number 5, neglecting your body while expecting confidence. One of the greatest misunderstandings about Stoicism is that it encourages neglecting physical health. Nothing could be further from the truth. The Stoics believe your body was a responsibility, not because physical beauty determines your worth, but because caring for yourself reflects self-respect. Imagine receiving a valuable instrument. Would you leave it covered in dust? Would you ignore it until it stopped working? Of course not. You would care for it because you understand its value. Your body deserves the same respect. Many people search for confidence while ignoring the very habits that help create it. They sleep too little. They rarely move. They eat whatever is convenient. They spend hours sitting but wonder why they constantly feel tired. Then they expect confidence to appear out of nowhere. Confidence doesn't grow in neglect. It grows in discipline. Every workout completed, every nourishing meal, every full night's sleep, every walk outside. These choices quietly communicate something important to your mind. I am worth taking care of. The Stoics often practice physical discipline not to impress others, but to strengthen their character. When you willingly do difficult things, exercise, wake up early, maintain healthy routines, you train your mind to stop seeking comfort at every opportunity. That discipline eventually changes more than your body. It changes your posture, your energy, your self-belief. People notice those things immediately, not because you become perfect, but because you become intentional. Habit number 6, spending too much time seeking validation. There's a subtle habit that quietly steals confidence from millions of people every day. It begins with a simple question. What do they think of me? At first, it seems harmless, but soon, every decision depends on someone else's approval. You dress to impress strangers. You speak to avoid criticism. You hide your opinions to fit in. You compare your life to carefully edited versions of other people's lives. Without realizing it, you've handed your happiness to people who barely know you. The Stoics considered this one of the greatest forms of slavery. Why? Because your emotions become controlled by forces outside yourself. Imagine a puppet hanging from strings. Every movement depends on someone else's hands. Now imagine cutting those strings. For the first time, the puppet can stand on its own. Seeking constant validation works the same way. The more approval you need, the less freedom you possess. People who desperately seek attention often appear restless. Their confidence changes with every compliment. Their mood changes with every criticism. But someone who knows their own values carries themselves differently. They smile without forcing it. They speak without fear. They remain calm because their worth isn't decided by applause. Marcus Aurelius often reminded himself that fame is temporary. Today's admiration becomes tomorrow's forgotten memory. So why build your identity upon something so unstable? Instead, build your character. Character remains long after popularity fades. Ironically, those who stop chasing validation often become the people others admire most, because authenticity has a kind of beauty that cannot be imitated. Habit number 7, allowing negative emotions to become your personality. Everyone experiences anger. Everyone feels disappointment. Everyone faces fear. The Stoics never denied this. What they warned against was allowing temporary emotions to become permanent identities. Have you ever met someone who always seems irritated? No matter the situation, they find something to complain about. Their face always looks tense. Their voice carries frustration. Their presence feels heavy. Now compare that to someone who remained composed during difficulty. They still face problems. They still experience stress. But they don't become their emotions. This difference is enormous. Imagine holding a burning piece of charcoal. The longer you refuse to let go, the more it burns you. Resentment works exactly the same way. So does bitterness. So does envy. The longer you carry them, the more they shape your appearance. You may not notice it day by day, but over years, they become written across your face. The Stoics practice letting go, not because forgiveness was easy, but because holding on to anger only prolongs suffering. Every day you carry resentment, you continue giving your past control over your present. Ask yourself, who benefits from my bitterness? The answer is almost always the same. No one, especially not you. Imagine walking through life carrying a backpack filled with heavy stones. Each stone represents an old grudge, an insult, a betrayal, a disappointment. At first, the weight seems manageable, but after years of carrying it, your posture changes, your energy fades, your joy disappears. Now imagine setting those stones down. The road hasn't changed, but your ability to walk it certainly has. Forgiveness does not mean pretending the hurt never happened. It means refusing to let that hurt continue shaping who you become. The Stoics believed this was one of the highest forms of strength, not defeating another person, defeating the anger within yourself. Notice how none of these habits have anything to do with expensive fashion, cosmetic procedures, or perfect genetics. They are habits of the mind, yet they transform the body. Purpose gives your eyes direction. Discipline changes your posture. Self-respect changes your energy. Emotional control softens your expression. Freedom from validation creates quiet confidence. And inner peace creates an appearance that no product can manufacture. Most people spend years trying to change what they see in the mirror. The Stoics would encourage you to change the habits behind the reflection, because when your inner world changes, your outer presence cannot help but follow. If you've stayed with this message until now, you've probably realized something important. The Stoics never judged a person's appearance by the symmetry of their face or the clothes they wore. They looked deeper. They believe that the condition of your mind eventually becomes visible in the condition of your life. Your habits shape your thoughts. Your thoughts shape your actions. Your actions shape your character. And your character quietly shapes the way the world sees you. This is why true attractiveness can never be purchased. It is built one discipline choice at a time. Let's continue with the final 3 habits. Habit number 8. Never smiling because life has made you hard. Life has a way of testing everyone. Some people experience betrayal. Others face failure. Some lose people they love. Others struggle with financial hardship, loneliness, or disappointment. Pain is unavoidable. But the Stoics believe there is an important difference between experiencing pain and becoming consumed by it. Have you ever met someone whose face always looks guarded? Not because they're angry, but because they've stopped allowing themselves to experience joy. Somewhere along the way, they convince themselves that smiling is a sign of weakness. That warmth makes them vulnerable. That remaining emotionally distant is the safest way to avoid being hurt again. But emotional walls don't only keep pain out. They also keep happiness from coming in. Imagine a house with every window permanently closed. Eventually, the air becomes stale. The rooms grow darker. Nothing fresh is allowed inside. Your spirit works the same way. When you close yourself off from kindness, gratitude, laughter, and genuine connection, your face begins to reflect that isolation. The Stoics never encouraged emotional coldness. In fact, they often reminded themselves to appreciate the simple gifts of each day: a sunrise, a meaningful conversation, the opportunity to learn, the chance to help another person. These small moments nourish the soul, and a nourished soul has a remarkable effect on appearance. A genuine smile softens a face more effectively than any cosmetic treatment. Kind eyes make a stronger impression than expensive fashion. People are naturally drawn to warmth because warmth communicates safety. It says, "You don't have to pretend around me." That kind of presence cannot be faked. It grows from gratitude. So smile when life gives you a reason. And sometimes smile simply because you're still here, still growing and still becoming. That quiet gratitude shines in ways that words never can. Habit number 9, living in constant comparison. Comparison is one of the quietest thieves you'll ever encounter. It rarely announces itself. Instead, it whispers, "They're doing better than you. They're more successful. They're more attractive. They're further ahead. Little by little, your attention shifts away from your own journey. You stop appreciating your progress because you're measuring it against someone else's highlight reel. The Stoics understood how dangerous this mindset could become. Marcus Aurelius never advised himself to become another emperor. Epictetus never wished to live another man's life. Seneca never measured his worth by someone else's accomplishments. Each of them focused on becoming the best version of themselves. Imagine two runners on separate paths. One keeps looking ahead, maintaining a steady pace. The other constantly turns sideways to see where everyone else is. Who is more likely to stumble? Life works the same way. Every moment spent comparing yourself is a moment stolen from improving yourself. And comparison doesn't just affect your confidence, it changes your appearance. Someone trapped in comparison often looks restless. Their joy fades. Their smile becomes forced. Nothing they achieve ever feels enough. Contentment disappears. But the person who celebrates their own progress carries a completely different energy. They walk with confidence because they know they're moving forward, not on someone else's timeline. On their own, the Stoics believe that every person has a unique path. Your responsibility is not to outrun everyone else. Your responsibility is to walk your own path with integrity. The next time comparison enters your mind, ask yourself, am I becoming better than I was yesterday? That is the only comparison that truly matters. When you focus on growth instead of competition, peace begins replacing insecurity. And peace has a beauty all its own. Habit number 10. Ignoring your character while chasing your image. Perhaps this is the most important habit of all. Modern society spends enormous amounts of time teaching people how to improve their image, how to dress, how to pose, how to appear successful, how to create the perfect impression. The Stoics asked a completely different question. Who are you when no one is watching? That question reaches far beyond appearance. Imagine two beautiful buildings. One has a strong foundation. The other is built on sand. From a distance, they look almost identical. Then a storm arrives. Only one remains standing. Character is your foundation. Appearance is simply the exterior. Many people spend years decorating the outside, while neglecting the structure beneath. Eventually, life tests everyone. Difficult conversations, unexpected failures, financial hardship, loss, criticism, pressure. These storms reveal what appearances cannot hide. The Stoics believe that virtues such as honesty, discipline, humility, patience, courage, and kindness are what make a person truly attractive. These qualities never go out of style. Wrinkles may appear, hair may turn gray, strength may fade, but character often becomes even more beautiful with age. Have you ever noticed that some elderly people possess a remarkable presence? Their faces tell stories. Their eyes radiate wisdom. Their calmness makes everyone around them feel at ease. That isn't the result of perfect genetics. It's the result of decades spent shaping their character. Marcus Aurelius wrote that the beauty of a human being lies in living according to reason and virtue. In other words, becoming a good person is one of the most attractive things you can ever do. No expensive watch can replace integrity. No luxury clothing can replace kindness. No cosmetic treatment can replace inner peace. Those things are visible in ways that photographs can never fully capture. The Stoic mirror. Now imagine standing in front of a mirror. Most people immediately begin searching for flaws. My hair isn't right. My skin could be better. I wish I looked different. But what if you asked a different question? What habits am I practicing every day? Because habits are the true architects of appearance. Stress or peace. Discipline or laziness. Gratitude or complaint. Purpose or drifting. Confidence or constant validation. Forgiveness or resentment. Growth or comparison. Character or image. These are the questions that slowly shape your face, your posture, your energy, and your presence. The mirror only reflects what your habits have already created. The final lesson. The Stoics believe that every sunrise offers a new opportunity to begin again, not because yesterday didn't matter, but because today is still within your control. You cannot change the habits that shaped your past, but you can choose the habits that will shape your future. Imagine yourself 1 year from now. You still have the same face, but your eyes are calmer. Your posture is stronger. Your smile is more genuine. Your movements are more confident. Your presence fills a room, not because you're demanding attention, but because you've learned to live with quiet discipline. People begin asking what changed. Was it a new haircut? A different wardrobe? A new skincare routine? You smile, because the real transformation happened somewhere they could never see. It happened in your daily choices. It happened when you stopped carrying unnecessary stress, when you chose purpose over distraction, when you stopped comparing yourself to everyone else, when you began taking care of your body with respect, when you learned to let go of resentment, when you focus more on becoming a good person than appearing to be one. That is the transformation Stoicism offers. Not a different face, a different life. And when your life changes, your appearance naturally follows. Because true beauty has never been about perfection. It has always been about harmony. A mind at peace, a heart guided by virtue, a body cared for with discipline, a spirit that refuses to be ruled by fear, envy, or vanity. So before you spend another hour trying to change your reflection, spend that hour changing your habits. Because the face you see tomorrow is being shaped by the choices you make today. Thank you for watching. If this video helped you see yourself from a new perspective, don't let these lessons remain just ideas. Choose one habit to improve this week and commit to it with consistency. If you're passionate about Stoicism, self-discipline, inner peace, and becoming the strongest version of yourself, subscribe to the channel and join us on this journey. Until next time, remember, the most attractive person in the room is rarely the one with the perfect appearance. It's the one with the strongest character.